What is up, YouTube fam? It's been a long time. But I finally passed the national, passed the California licensing exam. It's been a long time, and I'm just super happy that I'm finally done with this and kind of close this chapter of my life in the study mode. And I appreciate you all the subscribers that reached out to give kind words about their own testing experience. And I know that I failed in November, so this is a recap video and an updated video. And hopefully now that I passed the exam, some of the tips and takeaways that I can spread and provide to you all. For all the California test takers out there for the licensed marriage and family therapy exam. I would say this one took me, about, you have to wait 4 months in between after failing in November. So I was able to take the exam on May 9th, and I wasn't able to schedule it until, I would say, April. So it did take a little bit for everything to kind of, all the paperwork to process. So I would encourage you to submit your reapplication as soon as you found out that you failed, because it does take a while for them to approve and set up a specific date for you to pick. And also the testing centers have been slammed, so it did take a while for me to actually find a testing center for the specific time for me able to take the test. I did all 3 online test preps. I did Ben Caldwell, I did their exam prep only, or their mock exams, 2 mock exams. It's like 150 to 160 bucks. I did the Jerry Grossman seminar books, and for my first video, I did their lecture. Like Jerry Grossman was actually on the call with me and with everyone and like taught us and went through like PowerPoint presentations. I still have access to their portal because I failed and they let me access. And then I also did TDC for the national exam. And then now looking at all 3 of those, TDC, national, and Ben Caldwell, I would have to say the toughest questions would have to be Jerry Grossman's. I thought the exam was probably the most similar, but they were also the most challenging. Ben Caldwell, I felt like was a little bit easier because they recycled, like both tests that I took, I felt like they recycled the questions a little bit more. Jerry Grossman's does too. And then TDC, I did it for the national exam, so I don't know what the California exam would be. How I passed it and what I really think was important, like yes, the study guides and the readings, like this one I made a study guide for myself. This is a study guide made for myself. I really didn't even follow it eventually, like listening to the audios, listening to the flashcards. I think this is what helped me the most. It was taking the mock exam maybe once a week and then going through each mock exam and figuring out what you got wrong. Because I knew the first test I took, I did really poor on crisis management. So I really tried to hone in and did crisis management quiz questions with Jerry Grossman, which helped a lot. And then I applied the quiz questions, like continued doing the quizzes. I feel like the questions with Jerry Grossman were getting reused. That's why I bought the Ben Caldwell 2 mock exams. Did both of them. First one I got was a 66. Those are the same thing, 99 out of 150. So I failed again by like 1 question. Second time I took it, I got a 70, or I got a 69. Immature, I know. And that seemed like it gave me a little bit more confidence, but it seems like I was like, oh, hedging, because some of the questions were very similar, and I was like, oh, maybe that was a little bit biased, not a very accurate score because some of the questions were being reused. Day 1, about to finish up my second quiz. We have this test on May 9th, 2023. Today is April 3rd. Following this curriculum, this 3-month study plan, and broke it down into 4 weeks. So have to do a couple quizzes this week, 1 exam, 5 exams total. So do like 1 a day. Audios I don't really need to listen to. Textbook, I don't really want to read it. Just test banks all day. We'll see if this works. We'll see if it helps. But today I'm just focusing mostly on crisis management because that was the worst score that I got on the first try.
we don't want to do this. I'm tired. I don't have the energy. But I am grateful that I am at this step to even be able to take this exam again, getting all your hours done, because I know that was a very challenging and long process. Just checking in. Definitely want to just show you how I'm doing on day 1, and then we'll see after all these extra days where are we at. We have, let's see how many more days, because it is cool that the Jerry Grossman tells you how many days are left. 35 days till exam. Finish this exam. Last crisis management question. I think we got like 14 questions left. Then go to sleep.
Essentially what I'm saying is I would recommend, if you did fail and you know what you did poorly on, do the practice quizzes with Jerry Grossman, because they'll have specific quizzes on those different criteria, like your clinical assessment, diagnosis, crisis management, planning, treatment, managing legal and ethical issues. If you felt like you needed more, then I would get the Ben Caldwell. But the Ben Caldwell did feel easier, but the UI, which I meant is like you actually like looking at the questions and like clicking A, B, and C, and D, for some reason was the most pleasing to my eye, so I didn't mind studying for that as much. Even though I gave myself a month to study this time, I locked in the last 2 weeks. Made sure really didn't hang out with any friends, deleted Instagram, deleted all the apps that would distract me, told friends and that I wasn't gonna be available, or I was gonna be MIA for a little bit, and try to discourage me from like going out or like drinking or doing anything extracurricular. Just focusing on studying. Coming up to the exam on Tuesday, I took a mock exam that Saturday, and the following, earlier that Wednesday, to really hone in and see where I was at. Also spent time with Shannon, who also graduated Northwestern with me. So appreciate you, Shannon. She really helped me break down the questions and figuring out why I picked these specific answers. Kind of coming back to the same first video, what I did, read the end of the question first, and then figure out what it's asking me. Is it an initial thing that I needed to do? Is it asking for a treatment goal? Is it asking for assessments? Is it asking for a diagnosis? And then I would read the question, and then in the first sentence, usually it'll tell you like, this is gonna be more of a crisis situation question, or this is gonna be more for targeting like depression or anxiety. And then I would read questions A, B, C, and D. That was my strategy. So I hope that might work for you, or hopefully that helps. Here are some tips that I used while I was taking the exam. All the questions that were hard or I didn't know, I read it once and I just flagged it and went. I know they say to select an answer. I just didn't, because I noticed when I was taking my mock exams that if I did flag it and I did select an answer, at the end of the test when I was going through my flagged, it would give me a little bit bias on like leaning towards this one way, even though I really didn't know the answer to. So it made me like second guess myself. Should I change? Should I stick? Should I change? Should I stick? So I just left it blank. Most of the test prep people tell you not to do that. I just did it because I know I second guessed myself, which isn't great, but I just knew this is what I was doing. So I was really mindful of that. I took breaks. After looking at my data, I started getting questions wrong between 40 to 50. So I took a break at 40. I took a break at 80, and I took a break at 115. That's when I usually noticed my errors. Did some grounding work. 5 senses, so something that you can smell, something you can hear, something you can taste, something you can touch, something you can see. And then also there's another one that Shannon recommended was 5 songs that I knew and singing them. So any 5 songs that pop in your head, just sing one part of the lyric, and it really helped me with my grounding and got me out of my own head. Go grab some water, went to the bathroom. I brought coconut water, I brought an orange juice, I brought a sandwich and a protein bar, and I bought a bottle of water. I finished the orange juice and bottle of water, so I wish I brought a little bit more water with me. Finished the sandwich. Questions that were way longer, so like it would ask you a vignette and then have you choose 3 options, like A, B, C, or D. Question A might have 3 specific answers. I skipped all those questions for the end because I knew my reading was going to be super slow, and I was like, all questions are 1 point anyways, so I'd rather get the ones that take very long for me to get wrong, regardless of like, I want to get the easy ones out of the way. Not even the easy ones, just the ones that I think I can read faster and like select an answer. So that was my strategy. I really thought I was gonna fail. So getting towards the end of the thing, I had a minute and 50 seconds left, and I had 7 flagged that I still had to review. I'm freaking out. But I did select answers on all these at this point. So, but I was reviewing again just to see like, did I miss something? In the mid 50 laps, I was like, all right, let's just submit. I don't want to keep second guessing and going back and forth. And I thought I failed. It was like my heart sank. And the whole time I was taking this test, I was like, damn, I'm really gonna spend this much time, all this effort just to fail and have to retake this again in like 5 to 6 months. And once you submit, you go back to the front, like you hear printing, and she looks at it, stone cold, like nothing to her face. She walks over to me and she's like, oh, like go to your locker, get your stuff, and then once you get your stuff, I'll give you this. I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fail, because usually like when I did the law and ethics and when I did my California real estate exam, like they smiled or something to give you a little hint of like you passed or you failed. Went to the bathroom, I was like washing my face, I was like so bummed. She was like dragging my feet. I get my stuff out of my locker, put everything in my pockets, turn on my phone, and then walk over there, and she just like flips it over. Oh, congratulations. And I was like, yeah. And no, I didn't really do that. As soon as she said congratulations, I like fell to my knees and like had my hand or my head into my like armpit, elbow part. And I was like, what? This is crazy. I probably stood there and like was in disbelief for like 5 minutes. And she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, congratulations, so happy for you. And there's like aunties in the background. They're like, oh, good job. And then I was like, oh, can I get a photo? And then, bah, she took a photo of me. And it was a great feeling. And then I sat in the parking lot for like another hour and a half. An hour and a half I sat in the parking lot. Called my mom, called my dad, and it was a very, very happy moment. Because yeah, I put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and sacrificing just so much to get this done. And thinking about like where you first started when you were in grad school, doing all of this, or even doing your applications for grad school. And then you're doing your applications to apply to be an associate, and then apply to be a licensed therapist. And then you're finally done. So very emotional this week. The next day I was brain dead, so tired. Celebrated that night, got some omakase sushi. So people that passed, people that failed, please treat yourselves to something, because when you're thinking about it, you do put in a lot of effort and it's a lot of sacrifice. Reward yourself for going through that process. So the omakase, yeah, that night, and I was just floored. And then tonight, I'm going to the Warriors and Lakers game, game 6 at home at the Lakers. I couldn't believe I'm buying these tickets, to be honest, because they are way too expensive. But I was like, this is a momentous day. Money will come back, but the memories last forever. I hope this video helps. I hope you stick with the process yourselves. Be patient with yourselves, be kind to yourselves. It is a very tough journey, and I'm just glad that I finished and I was able to pass, but I didn't think I was going to. So stay in the fight, and let me know in the comments below your test taking strategies and any way I can help. Also, for anyone that is subscribed and is in the need to take the exam, for California, I have the Jerry Grossman clinical books. I will send them to you. Just DM me on Instagram. First person that sends me that you're subscribed in an Instagram message, I will send you these to you. Also, these are going to be people only in the US. For the people that are taking the national exam, same thing. Screenshot that you subscribed and send me a DM on my Instagram, and I will send you the MFT licensing book that I used to pass the national exam. Last tip that I forgot to mention, ChatGPT is your best friend too. I feel like it gave me quicker answers specifically for DSM. I would just type in ChatGPT, bipolar 1 versus bipolar 2, what are the differences for DSM for passing the marriage and family therapy California exam, and it would just give me a little bit of a cleaner breakdown specifically around time lengths, hospitalization, like manic phase about 1 week, and bipolar 2 minimum of 4 weeks. So things like that, questions like that, specifically the differences between each treatment model, each diagnoses. Good tip. We are done. I hope you pass. When you do, please drop a comment, because I am rooting for you in all your future endeavors. Peace, love, and happiness. Bye-bye.